to trial, and you could get more money, you could get less money for your daughter, or you could get zero. And you understand by settling this case, you can't bring a claim in the future. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry
Okay. And
about
did
that.
you understand my last question?
No, could you repeat, please?
I was just making sure you understood that by settling this case, you lose your right to go to trial on your daughter's behalf. And if we went to trial, you could get more, you could get less, or you could get zero. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you understand the gross settlement in this case was $7,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And we went through a breakdown of that settlement, and you understand what the breakdown of that settlement is.
Yes,
Okay. And the total net to your daughter, you understand to be $2,553.68.
yes, sir.
Okay. And you understand that the funds are for your daughter and not for you. You're aware of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you asking the court to approve this settlement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
Okay. Ms. Armstrong, I'm sorry, Ms. Snell.
Hi. Good afternoon, Mr. Jennings. My name is Bonnie Sowell Snell. I'm an assistant city attorney for the city of Dallas. Do you remember me from your deposition?
Yes, I do. Good afternoon.
Hi, it's good to see you again.
You too.
Mr. Jennings, have you had a chance to meet with the guardian ad litem regarding the settlement agreement reached in this case on behalf of your daughter?
Yes,
And understanding that the amount reached was $7,500, do you believe that amount of the settlement is in the best interest of your daughter?
yes,
Okay. And I know that Mr. Montgomery talked to you a little bit about you had a right to a jury trial. Are you willing to forego a jury trial for the purposes of reaching the settlement today?
yes,
And do you understand that if your daughter requires additional medical care in the future for medical problems that you may or may not be aware of now, that the city of Dallas is not responsible for any additional payment for those expenses?
yes,
Okay. Do you understand that if the money in the registry, the court's registry, is depleted for any reason and your daughter requires additional care, you will be responsible for payment of those services?
yes,
And are you aware that $7,500 is the complete and total amount of the money that you can collect from the city of Dallas on behalf of your daughter for the September 26, 2018 accident?
yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your time. It's good to see you again. I'll
All
pass
right,
the
you
witness.
too.
Ms. Armstrong,
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed, sir?
you may.
Mr. Delmont, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You're doing all right?
Yeah, we hung out last on June 23rd, right? You, me, Jeremiah, Diashane. We had a nice little time.
Yeah,
Yeah, good to see you again, sir.
you too.
All right, sir. So Miss Diashane, she's doing pretty well right now, huh?
Yes, ma'am, she is.
All right, and at the time when we visited, I shared that Judge Hoffman appointed me as the guardian ad litem to review the settlement on behalf of your daughter, correct?
Yes,
And you and Mr. Angela, you have your own individual claims in this case, but as it relates to the kids and Diogene, so far so good since November of 2018, correct?
yes,
There have been no medical visits and none are planned as you sit here today related to the crash of September 2018, correct?
right. Yes,
Ms. Diogene she's had some physicals at school and she was cleared to play golf, which she said sucked. And she moved on to softball, right?
right.
Which she loved.
Yeah. Shortstop.
Shortstop, yes, on the softball team. She's also a rising 10th grader at South Oak Cliff High School.
Yes,
And even though we had difficulty with for Jeremiah and for her trying to get their grades, both kids sustained grades pretty well with at least a 3.1 GPA after this crash, correct?
yes.
And Judge Hoffman, don't be mad, but Diogene has had her sights on Texas A&M since the 6th grade.
I imagine we have a few Aggies here today, so that's all right.
Okay.
Ms. Diashne will tell you that herself, Judge. I prepared her for a conversation with you. But it's been since the 6th grade, Judge. It's nothing personal. Mr. Zelman, you understand that the net funds, after all the medical expenses are paid, the net amount for your daughter will be deposited into the registry of the court. And that's in the basement of the court building there at 600 Commerce Street. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And the clerks there are going to be required to take the funds and invest them in conservative accounts, but interest-bearing accounts. And that applies to you and for you and Diogene as well as Mr. Jeremiah. Do you understand that portion, sir?
Yes.
We talked about that, right?
Yes.
You also understand that if there were any emergency for which you needed to access these funds, you can petition Judge Hoffman and ask him in writing to allow access to the funds, but you understand there's no guarantee that he will grant any such request. Understand?
Yes.
Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
All right. You understand that the funds that are deposited will earn a little bit of interest, and under the Texas Local Government Code, the registry of the court is allowed to charge a small administrative fee, but that fee will be taken from the interest that is earned. It will not be taken from the principal that we put in. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
All right. You are satisfied that your daughter has healed completely from the September 2018 crash?
Yes.
You are asking Judge Hoffman to approve the settlement because you do believe that it is in the best interest of your daughter?
Yes.
Mr. Delmon Jennings, you are doing so freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Have I satisfactorily answered all of your questions and represented your daughter to your liking?
Yes, ma'am.
And has Mr. Sadat and his team done the same?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to pause and be sure that you were comfortable and confident in the process and give you an opportunity to ask me or Judge Hoffman absolutely any question that you may have related to the settlement and the next steps for your child.
Well, sitting here just thinking off the top of my head, when was she? Well, I know. Okay, but it's really no, ma'am. No questions. No questions.
We've covered everything for you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Your Honor, that's it. I pass the witness.
Mr. Jennings, did Ms. Armstrong do an okay job here?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm good. It's good to hear. Now, Dejanay, are you there? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, how old are you?
15,
15, and where are you in school?
South Oak Cliff High School.
So you said South Lake River?
South Oak Cliff High School.
Oh, South Oak Cliff. I'm sorry, I get cut out for a second. Do you have any questions for me about anything?
No, sir.
You understand when you turn 18, this money is yours and you can use it for college or whatever you like.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, great. Ms. Armstrong, if you want to go ahead and give your final report.
Yes, Your Honor. I was appointed by this honorable court and shortly thereafter made contact with Mr. Montgomery's office and Ms. Snell's office, obtained the relevant pleadings, the underlying medical information, bills, reports, the crash report, had an opportunity to review all of that. And I want to commend Mr. Montgomery's office for working with the children. They did make some reductions at my request to equalize and create better parity in the net recovery. They also worked very expertly on obtaining maximum reductions for all of the medical bills for the children. And so Mr. Montgomery's team and he are to be commended for the great job that they did. We also worked very diligently, Your Honor, to make sure that we were able to source all pots of cash. As you know, the city is protected by the TTCA. So with the minors claims and the adults claims, we were potentially running into a maximum recovery. And so we wanted to make sure if any PIP or UIM was available that we sourced that, but we were able to affirm with Assurance American Insurance Company, the application. I've seen the application, I've seen the signed rejections for PIP and UIM, and I've confirmed with Ms. Jennings that she doesn't recall ever paying the premiums to have any additional coverages that would be beneficial and or applicable to these claims. So I am confident, Your Honor, that we have sourced all of the funds available. The adults' claims were equally serious. Ms. Jennings, as an example, had a small fracture in her toe. And so the settlement amounts that the adults had were in no way out of line or skewed or incomparable to their claims. And the amounts that were settled on behalf of the minors were fair and reasonable in your ad litem's opinion. It is your ad litem's recommendation, Your Honor, that the settlement be approved in the amounts that are before you, with the allocations and the net proceeds being deposited into an interest-bearing account on behalf of each of these awesome minor children.
The court will approve the settlement as recommended by the guardian ad litem. Ms. Armstrong or Mr. Montgomery or Ms. Snell, if one of you guys could email me the final judge, or email my court coordinator, Rhonda, the final judgment, and then Ms. Armstrong, if you want to prepare an order. Oh, I'm sorry, we haven't talked about this yet. Has there been a discussion about the amount of the guardian ad litem fees?
There has been, Your Honor, and I also want to commend Ms. Snell for excellent work. I had the pleasure of working her with the city of Dallas, but she's now over a senior attorney on the civil side and still doing fantastic work. So it was work with all of the lawyers on this file. And yes, Your Honor, I've had an opportunity to visit with Ms. Snell. I provided her with a detailed fee statement, W-9, as well as a separate proposed guardian ad litem order. That has been forwarded to Ms. Rhonda Pinson, so you should have that. The fee amount is agreed. We are going to be forwarding to you the agreed final judgment as well, and the final amount will be in there as well.
What is the final amount, so I know?
Ms. Snell.
It's
What?
$4,700, Your Honor.
And that's agreed to?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, great. The court will approve it then. Thank you so much for your hard work, Ms. Armstrong and Mr. Montgomery, Ms. Snell. It was so nice to meet you, Ms. Jennings and Dejanay and Mr. Jennings. And I'm glad we're able to work everything out, and this will get invested as soon as possible. And have you guys already forwarded the checks yet, or did you want to wait until after this, Ms. Snell?
No, Your Honor, we were waiting for the settlements to be approved before we worked on, all that.
Okay, that's perfectly reasonable. So, all right, thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it, and you are excused. So it's good to see everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
Have
you,
a
Your Honor.
great day.
Good to see you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye. So, Rhonda, Tony, we'll see you in the morning. And let me just chat with the interns real quick. Let's see if we can. Oops, I'm still live.